someone who suffered from HS for 10 years of my life. That's hidradenitis suppurativa. And in the last 3 years, I spent documenting everything that happened before and after every flare-up. Now, I'm here to show you how I heal myself, and I want to show you how to send your HS into remission and make it disappear forever. There was 3 things that made me heal, that allowed me to understand that my healing didn't come from a bottle. It came from freeing myself emotionally. These 3 things were mastery of limiting beliefs, mastery of subconscious values, and mastery of internal dialogue. I'm going to show you why it matters and the wealth effect, what it compounds, what's the effect of why it matters. Now, since we're here, let's just get started. So, this has to do with HS freedom, women. This is for my women that are struggling with hidradenitis suppurativa. Like I said, and what it's linked to. So for all my women out there, I'm like one of my favorite movies, Interstellar. You know, Matthew McConaughey. He says, I'm your ghost. Since it's Halloween, it was just Halloween a few days ago, I'm your ghost. So, this is HS freedom and how to send it into remission and make it disappear forever. No fluff, no theory. These are the things that I documented. And I know you will resonate with this. So let me title this HS freedom. And I think I made a video before and my board was backwards. So hopefully this is more clear and brings more clarity. So the first one, let's get right into it. I ain't playing no games right now. Mastery of limiting beliefs. Excuse my spelling. How we gonna put them out? In blue? Okay, we're gonna go blue. We're gonna go blue. So mastery, hopefully y'all can see this. Mastery of limiting beliefs. Why it matters. I'm gonna abbreviate why it matters. This is very important. They all important. These 3 things are important. Mastery of limiting beliefs is the first one. The second one we're going to go into is mastery of subconscious values. And then mastery of internal dialogue. Y'all ready? So, mastery, why it matters. Limiting beliefs are like subconscious agreements. Let's write this down. Subconscious, I'm going to abbreviate, sub-agreements. Or subconscious business plans. That's if you're doing a startup or you got something going on, offers, whatever you got. Or sub-money agreements. An example of this of limiting beliefs is like, oh, you know how it is. All we could do is go to work and, you know, it's kind of hard now. All we could do is go to work and that's it. Pay your bills and that's it. Just keep on living, keep floating. Another example of this is, oh, you know how it is. The price of inflation. All you could do is work hard. Nothing works out. It's just work hard and that's it. The price of inflation is killing us. Oh, you know how it is. I can't afford that. These are limiting beliefs. Now, what is the wealth effect of you mastering these limiting beliefs? Wealth effect. When you master your limiting beliefs, it defines what you allow yourself to receive. It defines what you allow yourself to believe, to receive, to receive. These limiting beliefs can hinder you. You're telling yourself a narrative which is blocking you from giving yourself to the permission to receive money, to receive anything that you desire. So, when you master these, it defines what you allow yourself to receive. So what happens after that? Your ceiling becomes your new floor. When your beliefs expand, when your beliefs expand, your ceiling becomes your new floor. Why I'm saying this? Because what you believe is what you see. Your perception and your perspective defines what you see in this world, in your reality. So if you have a different belief system, it could only reference that new expanded self. So from that new expanded self is what you'll be walking through, not from a scarcity or not having agreement that you made with yourself, a limiting belief. So your ceiling becomes your new floor. That's your highest low. It could only reference what you believe. So that's why mastery of limiting beliefs is so important, why it matters, and what happens after. So that's like leading with your vision. You always walk in that vision. You lead your vision. That's one. Mastery of limiting beliefs, why it matters, and the wealth effect. You want to go a little deeper? Let's get a little deeper. Let's go green again. Mastery of subconscious values. This is going a little deeper. So, why it matters. Why mastery of your subconscious values matter. Why it matters. Why does this matter? Because values drive behavior silently. They drive behavior silently. I said this before. So it's your values is what your limiting beliefs, Everything. So if you overcome that and have a new perspective, a better perspective from a limiting belief, these turn into values. And these values is what makes you behave a certain way. Hopefully that makes sense. But we're going to get a little deeper. Misaligned. These are agreements. Misaligned values equals self-sabotage. Let me give you an example of a subconscious value. And I know this is going to resonate. You want freedom. You could say, I want freedom, but I chase security. A practical example of this is you turn down a promising startup. This could be like, I don't care if you knit, if you show people how to do a garden, you turn it down. Or it could be a new job. You turn it down because you feel secure at your unfulfilling corporate position, right? It's unfulfilling to you. You hate it. So you might say, I don't want to leave this because it's about responsibility. That's okay. You're being responsible. That's more than okay. But you could say it's about responsibility, but deep down, you fear uncertainty, the unknown, frontiers. So that's a subconscious value. You value the fear of uncertainty more than being free, what you claim you want to be. That's a value. So that value will demonstrate that behavior in everything you do. So since I believe that people need contrast too. It's night and day. Heavy, light, dark, light, fat, skinny. We need contrast to determine the now, to define what does that mean to us. We need contrast, we as people. And I believe that that's why God didn't make it one way. He made it nonlinear. So you have the ability to decide what you want for you. Deciding and choosing is two different things, but let's make it simple. What's an example of a good subconscious value? A good subconscious value could be resilience. So this is the subconscious value. How can I say this? Resilience. So you bounce back from every setback and maintain a sense of hope. That's the value of resilience, right? So you bounce back. So I know you do. You bounce back from every setback and maintain a sense of hope. To an example of this behavior is like you reframe every failure and continuously move forward with conviction, confidence, and calmness. That's the contrast. Resilience and fear of uncertainty. So you get to decide which one. Those are values. I gave you the example of subconscious value of resilience and the behavior that comes with it. You reframe every failure. Anything that happens, you reframe it into something that benefits you. Like, for example, I'm going to give you this story about when I suffered through HS. I'm studying, I'm documenting, and I got a flare up right here, right between my eyes. I named it Allure. You guys is Lore. You should look up the definition of allure. Now keep on going through the Webster's dictionary. You might find the animal definition for allure. And there you'll find something fascinating. And I applied that to that flare up, right? And it just worked in my favor. So that's an example of reframing the failure. And you walk in conviction. You maintain that continuously with confidence, conviction, and calmness. So that's the contrast. What is the wealth effect of adjusting and recalibrating your values? Like there's another one. There's another one. I can give you another one, right? A subconscious value. You might fear of intimacy, right? So you might turn down opportunities to meet somebody and be together because in the past you got hurt. So it's really, you turn in these new people that might be a good fit for you because you have fear of being vulnerability. You get it? I gave you two bad ones and one good example of a subconscious value. What is the wealth effect? So alignment is coming into agreement with just acknowledging those values, the deep ones, deep within. So you don't demonstrate that behavior. It's recalibrating it and being truthful with yourself. So what would happen if you align yourself with your values and lead with that and walk in that? The wealth effect is you know how to make a decision. You made an agreement with yourself, right? You know that this is how you lead yourself with. What is the wealth effect? Your work, relationships, job, whatever, start to orbit around your authentic self. Your work, your relationships, your jobs start to orbit around your authentic self. Because now you know that it's deeper than my limiting beliefs. I have to have values now. Things that are precious to me. But these are like alignments with yourself. You understand these things? The world is magnetic. I mean, now you agree with your heart and your mind. So that's your new belief systems. You don't have limiting beliefs. And those values create the world that you live in. So things start to orbit around your authentic self. That is the wealth effect. Anything you want, you don't have to try because you have values, and that's what you'll see. That's very important. That's a little bit deeper. Now, what is the other one? So the other one is, let's get back to the green. Where the green at? So the other one is mastery of your internal dialogue. It's how you speak to yourself. This is also linked to what I said in the beginning, like your limiting beliefs. But this is about how you talk to yourself. Like, you set out to do something and then the conversation with yourself right after is, oh, I'm not ready yet. Or you're having arguments with people or things inside of your head. Internal dialogue. It's how you talk to yourself, how you feel about yourself. I'm not ready yet. Oh, poor me. I don't deserve that. A person like me doesn't deserve things like that. That's your internal dialogue, your communication with yourself. Why it matters. Want to know why it matters? Why it matters. Because your subconscious, secret, your subconscious respects tone, not logic, not your words. The subconscious respects tone, not logic. So it's just like you could affirm something. You could affirm something. And when you affirm something like I want to be a millionaire, there's things that happen right after. Or it happens right after your affirmation, then you do contrary. This is back to like the subconscious value. You do something contrary to what your values are or what you agreed upon. The universe is like, what? You affirm this, but you're demonstrating that behavior. Same thing with internal dialogue. So you could affirm, yeah, I want $1 million. And that voice right after, especially what you do right after, will determine if you have an alignment or a misalignment. So it doesn't read like, oh, I affirm I have $1 million. It's the tone, the conviction behind what you say. So the tone could be like, an example of this is, I pray for $20. I want $20 in my bank account. Someone knocks on your door. Boom, hey, how you doing? I just seen $20 in your front lawn. I want to give it to you. And if you feel squeamish about receiving that 20, that's your tone. That's your internal dialogue. So it respects the tone. So you don't give yourself the permission to receive that. You get it? That's your tone. It's reading your tone. The universe is reading your tone, not the words that you say, the conviction you have, the calmness you have, your nervous system. That's the tone. That's the sound before the sound. What is the wealth effect? So mastery of your internal, I'm gonna abbreviate, dialogue. What happens, and it's funny, look, I wrote ID. And we, right? If you abbreviate it, that's subconscious, right? The wealth effect, this is prosperity, this is flow. This is an agreement of things. This is what happens. It's a we, it's a us thing. It's never just about you. We, ID. So your ID, your internal dialogue is ID, your identity, your real identity. It's how the alignment is within you. So mastery of your internal dialogue it creates, you become. When you master your internal dialogue, you become more persuasive. And when I say persuasive, I don't mean like convincing. There are two different things. When you convince somebody, you convincing them out of your benefit, just for your benefit. When you persuade somebody, is that you help them make a decision that they already wanted to make, that benefits you and him, you and her. This is you and the universe. It's a mutual thing, persuasion. But we was born like that. Mom, can I get this cookie? No, not right now. Please, Mom, can I get this cookie with the little cheeks, little smiley face? Okay, you can get it. We was born like that. It's seductive. You become persuasive. You become seductive. You become magnetic. You become magnetic. You pull things towards you. Things start to orbit around your authentic self, pulling things toward you. It doesn't mean you don't have to do nothing. We in the realm of alignment, how you can associate your thoughts and erect something from it. So you got to do an action. I don't know about spiritual people telling you not to do nothing. I don't know about that. I know here you got to do the reps. You got to align your thoughts with your heart, with your body. It's action. So you become seductive. You become magnetic. But those things that you desire will start orbiting you. Just live in that. And you become magnetic, and you become consistent. This is reps. You start living in that. So you start leading yourself with that vision. So what did we just go over? Mastery of limiting beliefs. Mastery of subconscious values, that it goes deeper, and then deeper. Mastery of internal dialogue, which is funny, which is your ID. I'm going to give you a tip, a little secret about mastery of what we did one before, but I'm going to give you how it ties in all together. This has to do with your money, with your wealth, right? This is the value. When you have misalignment, you could tell yourself, this is you having a limiting belief, which leads to a misalignment in your value and your internal dialogue. You tell yourself, okay, I'm going to save $40 this week because that's what I could save. I'm going to save this and I'm going to stack my money. Then 2 days later, it could be a family member or friend calls you for $40. Yo, I'm going through something. Can I borrow $40? You have a decision you got to make. Did you agree upon something that you're going to save that? Hey, there's a lot of honor in giving your last 40, but you're doing it you're saving for something. So I'm not saying don't give it, but you made an agreement with yourself. So what happens? You could give that 40 up. Now you have nothing saved up. Or you could decide, oh no, I can't do that because you got to be truthful. Now, if you align with those values, you'll be good. Now, there's no mixed signals between your mind and your body. Your body always remembers that as the first balance sheet. So you just got to pay attention when those things come. Have you ever did something like that happens? Yeah, I'm going to save 40. And then somebody calls you to borrow the only 40 that you saved. You get it? You pray for patience. God is going to be like, all right, on patience, I'm going to see how long You could wait. You want courage? Praying for courage? I'm going to show you monsters. Let me see if you can slay these monsters. You want money? I'm going to show you what it is to feel like it's without. Like, you get it? You got to be prepared for what you pray for. So we went over mastery of limiting beliefs, mastery of subconscious values, and mastery of internal dialogue. And these things are linked to your HS flare-ups or the link between HS and your prosperity, your flow. Not just money, your flow, which you give the permission to money to flow in and flow out calmly. So, y'all already know my slogan, man. Let's keep it infinite.